Shalom. I want to start giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching on scriptures, among other things. And salutations to all the Akyam across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and in truth. And shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do the best to please Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai. So, shalom. So, I want to jump into this topic concerning Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. So, this article here, he says he's going to deploy 1.5 million military members in response to our foreign threat. So, Trump put money on his head, and let me see. Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro said Monday he would deploy 1.5 militia members in response to foreign threats after United States raised a 1 million pledge for his arrest, because they say that Trump says that he works with the cartels, And the thing, America, I'm not sure if, I know Venezuela got oil. That's what I know, and I think they got they got a lot of oil, because that's always got to do with resources, Gold, I'm not sure. I know that England got a lot of gold of Venezuela in possession, and Maduro, he was put there first, to be a puppet, basically to work with the West. But he was at a certain point he had enough of it and basically wanted to do his own thing. And they try, they've been busy. They've been trying to get rid of him, even with that Guaido character, which also horrible failed, because he still got the military on his side, And as long as you got the military on your side, then you're not easy for them to take down. If your own soldiers are turning against you, then it's easy. Look what happened in I said it in Gabon and Niger. Burkina Faso. There were people that stood up and basically got rid of the puppets, and they basically got the country back in their own hands. So Trump tries to do that, He's also sent like three I said it, Navy SEALs ships, He sent them towards Venezuela. Let me see. This week I will activate a special plan with more than 4.5 million militias to ensure coverage of the entire national zone. Ready, active, and armed militias, Maduro announced on state television. And even, Chavez before that, because if you look at America, they always want to go to countries, they always want to go to countries where there are resources, and then they try to slander the leaders there and get rid of them and put some puppets there so that they can take the resources, That is what they've been doing, and that's what they will try to continue to do. And especially now, if you look at America currently, it's not going that well with that country. It's been going bad for a while, but ever since Trump started with put the tariffs on the I got it on the products that were coming from other countries, put tariffs on that, it's going more and more badly with America, like, look what China's doing, for example, the stuff from China is very cheap. And they exposed America also with all the brands that they had, like watches from Rolex, because you got at least 90% of the things, so-called also the expensive brands and all that, are made in China. They are made in China, and then the final assembly may occur in those countries, like some watches, then they go to Swiss, for the final assembly, like a lot of cars, they being pre-assembled at China, Volkswagen, BMW, you name it, basically everything, just look around in your house and you will find out that the majority of the stuff that you have in your house is made in China. And if you look at America, you know, if you look at your house and try to find out how much stuff is made in America, you will find is maybe you find one thing, but it's closer to zero. And America, they are consumers, they're not really people that develop stuff. Even the cars that they got, they that's not even that. If you look at quality, it's not even that specials. If you look at quality concerning cars, then the Japanese cars, they are far out much better, and those are facts. That's not opinion; those are facts. Why do you think that those terrorists, so-called terrorists, in the deserts, why do you think that they drive Toyotas? Those are Japan cars, in the desert. They don't feel them. You don't see them driving Dutches. Even if you look at Dutch nowadays, there's a lot of plastic parts in those cars that ain't supposed to be from plastic anyway to begin with. So yeah, man. And there's more article. Let me jump to another article because yeah, this one. Let me translate it to the English. So, U.S. Warship heading to the Caribbean to fight cartels, also calling at Curacao. And Curacao is an island that is part of Holland, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao. And you got some more islands, like Sint Maarten. Those are islands that used to be, I said that, um, colonies of Holland. The presence of three U.S. Navy ships off the coast of Venezuela has no impact on Dutch defense operation in the area, a spokesperson said at this time. There is no reason to change regular operations in the area. U.S. President Trump is sending three Navy ships to Venezuela to combat the threat of Latin American drugs cartels. The USS Gravely, USS Jason Dunham, and the USS Sampson will be deployed in the coming months. By deploying naval vessels in the southern Caribbean, Trump is ramping up the pressure. The president has designated several drugs cartels as terrorist organizations. You see that, and Trump is panicking. He's trying to show his force. But look what happened with Iran. Iran also reacted on what America did. People are standing up against him and fighting back. And there was a time where that was not happening. The president has designated several drugs cartels as terrorist organizations and holds them responsible for, among other things, gang violence in the United States. He recently secretly signed a directive, the New York Times reports, authorizing the use of military force against the cartels. And those cartels, they don't. Those people aren't afraid. And they got some crazy weaponry also going on. But yeah, nevertheless, what is Esau's blessing? The weapon. Logistic visit. The U.S. has informed the Dutch Ministry of Defense of the presence of U.S. naval vessels in the Caribbean. A spokesperson told NOS, calling it a national operation from the U.S. Trump's plan is to operate in international airspace and waters. At this time, there is no reason for the defense to adjust operations in the area due to the American presence, according to the spokesperson. However, the USS Gravely and USS Jason Dunham will be making a logistic port visit to Willemstad at the end of this month. They've been, and don't forget, they've been fighting for the islands, back in the days, because it used to be, Curacao used to be from Spain. Portugal used to have them. French, I think French were also there. The French were there, the Spaniards were there, the English were there, of course the Dutch and the Portuguese. So it's been going on, and this also showing you, like the people of Curacao, you're on an island, so Basically, when shit hits the fans, there's no way that you can run. Basically, they can surround the island and basically lock you in. There's no way to go. The Venezuelan coast is approximately 65 kilometers from Curacao. The Dutch Navy is also active in the Caribbean. And concerning the Dutch Navy, there's many times that they've been caught with cocaine, with kilos of cocaine, trying to get to Holland by airplane, by ship. They've been doing that, and they probably still doing it. Because a lot of it also comes through Venezuela, Colombia to Venezuela, and by Venezuela it goes to Curacao. They've been doing that. And don't forget, these Dutch people, these people from Holland, they're special and they love trafficking. They've been doing that a lot. Also they used to have, like in the First World War, they used to sell cocaine to all the parties that were fighting in the war. They were making growing the plants and preparing the stuff in growing the plants in Indonesia, which also used to be a former colony of them. And then they brought it to Holland, and in Amsterdam you still find remainings of the factory. They had a cocaine factory, and they were processing the cocaine, and then were trafficked it, selling it to the people. So they've been doing that. They've been trafficking all these spices and herbs, and the stuff for the cocaine and people, because they were also the first one to send a ship with slaves from West Africa to America, and they were also the last one to stop with slavery. So these people been doing it. Concerning trafficking, they've been doing it, and they always act so innocent and all that. But they are, if you ask me, I always say that they are a special tribe of the Edomites. So yeah, and it so far it's been proven, concerning cruelty and all these things, they are on the top. The Venezuela coast is approximately 65 kilometers from Curacao. The Dutch Navy is also active in the Caribbean, combating drug crime among other things. All counter-drugs operations in the area are managed from Naval Base Parera. According to the U.S. government, Venezuelan President Maduro is one of the world's largest drug traffickers. You see that, and that's easy for you slanderers. Defiling your name so that you can have a reason. They've been doing that. What happened with if you look at 9/11, they were talking about Osama bin Laden. Which country was he from? He was from I think he was from Iran or one of these other countries. But where did they go to? They go to Iraq, catch Saddam Hussein. You see that? That's easy for you. According to the U.S. government, Venezuela President Maduro is one of the world's largest drugs traffickers and is collaborating with drugs cartels to flood the U.S. with cocaine laced with fentanyl. You see that? And don't forget Esau. The Esau is that evil scientist that making all this shit. The crack. He is inventing those things. And then he want to act like other people are doing it. Earlier this month, the US therefore doubled the reward for Maduro's capture to 50 million, the equivalent of approximately 43 40 so 43 euro 40 yeah 43 million euros. So here it says D66 has submitted preliminary questions. Holland only got questions and blah 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 blah. So yeah, basically, don't gonna go to the whole article, but you see that Maduro is ready to act. And another thing, don't forget Russia got the back of Venezuela because they had something, when America basically wanted to start openly, because on the background they've been doing it, when they started openly to try to attack a fuck with Venezuela, like a couple of years ago. I remember that Russia also sent a few fighter jets to Venezuela, basically showing the world that they got Venezuela's back also. So this is so this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, and we start at verse 9. Proclaiming ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's exactly what you see going on. That's exactly what you see going on. And the fun part is, America is really losing its grip, because Trump, he be acting like, he's in rulership and this and that. He got the whole world in check. But that time is done. That time is done for America. Eventually, everybody's going to turn against him. That's the future of America. And you already see it. Because if you look at the situation with Ukraine and Russia, Trump tried to force. He's acting like he's gonna force Putin to basically to cease the fire and all that. Stop the war. But you already see, like Putin, he said, like, hey, for me it's no problem to stop. You like in the West, with the media, they try to give you like fake news, like talking about how Russia keeps on losing and this and that. But then you read articles, you see that how Russia is taking more and more ground, basically taking back what they have been taken from him. And he already said to Trump that if Trump want him to stop the war, then for him it's no problem as long as he get those parts of Ukraine uh, that he already has taken, that is officially that those parts are going to be officially part of Russia. And that's funny, man. And don't get me wrong, I said that Putin is a devil also. So yeah, eventually they're all going to pay, man. But it's beautiful to see how they are standing up against each other. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And this is exactly what you see Maduro doing, getting all these soldiers ready. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's exactly, like literally what happened in Holland. Yeah, these farmers, they had to, they have to move away, get away, and make space for the military, whether it be practice grounds or where they're gonna put the bases there. But they have to go, literally. Assemble yourselves, and come all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause the mighty wants to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and that's the Middle East, where everybody is focused what they see what these small heads, these Israelis are doing, with the Palestinians. And I don't give a shit about the Palestinians neither, and the Amalekites, the smallheads, the Israelis, they are our number one enemy. So yeah, but eventually, Yahweh Basham Yahushai, he's gonna send Yahweh Shai, and he's gonna judge them all over there. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fat's overflown, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai is near in the valley of decision. You see that? And this is exactly what's going on. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows, and we are at that point. We are at that point. The end is not yet, but the things are manifesting. Yahushai, the coming of Yahushai is around the corner. beautiful to see, man. Beautiful to see how countries are standing up, not taking that shit from America anymore, That's prophecy. Like I said, eventually everybody's going to turn against America. Look at Iran like a while ago, they fought back. They were bombing Israel also, and they were hiding it from the news, They were hiding it from the news because Iran, they had some how you call it, some they hit Israel on some very good spots. They really hurt them. But those are things that they keep out of the news. So yeah, man, with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching of scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyam across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and truth. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom.